Welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2022 semi-final 2 preview and predictions. Please do click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell and like, share and comment below. So as promised, having done a semi-final 1 kind of preview and predictions and also then doing a review to see how closely I matched, I am doing a semi-final 2, and this semi-final of course is the one that the UK can vote in, so at least I can have a bit of an influence, small as though it will be, on perhaps the outcome of this one. Now I think I said it in my videos that while I think semi-final 1, although it wasn't straightforward to predict, and you know a lot of people, there was a couple of songs that people really didn't expect, the semi-final 2 feels a lot more open. I think there are some real peaks in semi-final 1, whereas maybe there's not quite as many peaks in semi-final 2, but overall it's perhaps at a slightly higher quality overall, and that makes it slightly more difficult to decide who, predict who will likely go through. However, I've done what I did last time, where I've looked at who I think are certain qualifiers, and then on the converse, certain non-qualifiers, likely to qualify, likely to non-qualify, and then the toss-ups, the ones where it could go either way, and there are quite a few ones where I think it could go either way in this semi-final. So if we kick off with who I think is very likely, almost certain to qualify, there are 4 songs I think that are almost certain to qualify. They are, and I'm going through in the order that they appear as in the running order, as opposed to which I think is the most certain. So first of all is Serbia, very, very, very different song. Big crowd reaction at the jury show. I watched a live stream from the press centre, so I could hear the songs and a little bit of the vocal and how people reacted to it. Went big in the hall. I think it's really unusual. There's a lot of voting allies as well for Serbia. They've got a lot of neighbours that will give them a chunk of votes, so I'm pretty sure Serbia will go through. Second, Poland. Again, immaculate vocal, great male vocalist. There are several great male vocalists in this semi-final, but Ochman always performs flawlessly. I think, again, you will get a jury and a televote because there is a latent Polish kind of diaspora vote that will help, plus the general vote that it will get will push this into a qualification. Sweden, one of the big favourites, big fan favourite. I think this will pick up, although she's had some issues in the rehearsals, technical issues more than anything to do with her. I think the jury show went very well. Sweden will go through. And finally, and I'm really pleased to say this, I think the Czech Republic are certain to go through. They close the show. Dominika, they look like they're having a great time. Dominika hits her vocals in the jury show. It looks spectacular. It's a really, really upbeat, big banger EDM song. I am sure that will go through as well. On the other side, sadly, we won't see in the grand final are 2 songs, both from Balkan countries, I'm afraid. North Macedonia, I think Andrea puts her all into this performance. She's really passionate, but the song just isn't quite there, and I just don't think it's going to connect with enough people. It may get some jury points, but it's not going to connect with enough people, I feel. And also the same goes with Montenegro, who we've welcomed back to the contest. They brought a really classy entry in. Vladana, it's a really personal song to her. But I just don't think there's enough. It's going to get enough votes from jury or televote to get it into the top 10 to qualify. So switching back again to likely to qualify, these ones that I'm fairly sure will qualify, but I've got a few, I have some doubts. And so I've got a couple. Azerbaijan. Now, you will know that I did not have Azerbaijan very high in my top 40. I still don't engage that much with the song, I have to confess, but I think the strength of his live vocal and the kind of the interest of the staging, I think will probably give it enough jury votes plus some televote to get it in. I think there's a risk with Azerbaijan, but I think when I start looking at some of the other ones, there should be enough there. And you could almost say exactly the same thing, except I prefer the song a little bit more, is Australia. Again, amazing live vocal, a really dramatic song. This will obviously get a lot of jury votes, may not get quite as much televote, but combined, it should be enough to bring into the top 10. And then my not likelies are, there's 3 songs that I think are not likely, and one of these was in my toss-ups until the jury final. But the least likely of them is Georgia, sadly. A really interesting song. I love the way that Georgia brings lots of different styles to Eurovision. But I think just in the lineup it's got, it can feel a little repetitive at times, and I just don't think it's going to get rewarded enough by either jury or televote to put it in the top 10. Malta is the other one. I think Malta's got a bit of a chance to still qualify, I think, because it is a catchy song, but it's a very basic song. It is a very generic song that we've heard a lot of times in national finals and at and Eurovisions of old. I think that's going to be a bit of a problem. I don't think she had a brilliant jury show performance, so that may cost her some votes there, and I'm not sure there's going to be enough televote. There will be people that like this sort of genre, but again, not enough to add it up. And the final one that I think is less likely to qualify, again, this is based on the jury show that I've kind of listened into, is Belgium. I think he has a really unique voice. It's a very different genre to everyone else. But he hit a bum note or two at the end of his performance. Not disastrous, but that's this little thing that might knock some jury points off. And I think with Belgium, they need every jury point they can get, because I'm not convinced that there's going to be enough people voting on a semi-final night that would necessarily vote for this kind of genre. Saturday night, grand final, might be a different matter. Semi-final night, I'm less certain of, so that's why I put it in my not likelies. So I've now got 7 songs, and I've got to choose 4 of them. So the 7 are San Marino, Estonia, Ireland, Romania, Finland, Israel, and Cyprus. Now, I am putting San Marino through, largely because I like it a lot, but also Achille Lauro, big star in Italy, had a huge reaction in the hall. He's got amazing staging, completely bonkers. I don't know how jury friendly it's going to be, but I hope they recognise the sort of the sheer outrageousness and quality of the performance. There's never a dull moment in it, and I hope there's going to be enough televotes will come through, but people will see this and be really impressed. I just feel Achille Lauro and San Marino need to be in the grand final, so I'll be keeping my fingers crossed and voting as well. Another one I'm going to put in is Estonia. I think he's had a few problems with the staging. He's been hit by the Black Sun issue, but he's got a great live vocal. It's a really catchy song. I think this will pick up. I mean, it's a better song than Victor Krone's Storm, and that got through to the final. So I think Estonia will make it through. So I've got 5 more songs, 2 to choose. So I'm looking at sort of equivalences. I've got 4 upbeat songs here: Ireland, Romania, Israel, and Cyprus. And so of those, I think I'm going to go with, and also we still have Finland sitting there as well. Of those, I'm going to pick both Ireland and Romania as my qualifiers. I think if you put them up against the 2 other kind of slightly more upbeat songs, Israel and Cyprus, I just think they're later in the running order. They probably engage it more. I think Ireland and Romania just seem a lot of fun. I think Israel has that, but it's coming really early in the running order. And I just think jury-wise, I think none of them are going to get loads of jury points. I think they're going to be picking up televote points. And I think Ireland's got Australia and the UK giving it some points. Romania will probably pick up some diaspora and people that like that genre of music. So that's why I think it might just point them into qualification. With Cyprus, I think she didn't have a lot of people like this song, but the staging hasn't quite worked for it, and her jury show performance wasn't top notch. So again, it's going to maybe lose out something there. I'm just not sure it's going to engage enough outside the kind of the Euro fan community. And it has no Greece as well to give it 24 points. So I'm just putting Cyprus on the non-qualification side. Obviously, we've talked about Israel as well. The last one is a very famous band, the Rasmus, for Finland. They've had some ropey live performances, vocals. They did okay at the jury show, but it didn't set fire to the audience. And while it may get some votes for the genre and the name recognition, I'm just erring on the side of, I think there are more engaging and fun performances than theirs that people might be more likely to go for. So that's why I've put it on my non-qualification side. However, I am really that group in the middle, especially. It could really be any of them, and even on either side of that, it could be different ones. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm only going to get 5 or 6 right at most for this time rather than 8 out of 10. But we'll see. Well, it's not long to the semi-final. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I will be with other people watching it this time rather than just me and my husband watching it. And I'm hopefully able to record a video sort of after the show again to sort of run through kind of how I think my predictions went. But we'll see how that goes. But great to have you with me again. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon.